Welcome to another academic English class. Today we're going to take a look at an article published by the Globe and Mail about spendthrift ways. So what does that mean? What does spendthrift mean? And how does this reflect on the economy? Well, spendthrift is a way of referring to somebody that doesn't spend a lot of money. Sorry, the opposite of that. It's a person who spends money in a rather extravagant way. You know, they're not responsible with the money. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to set up a Google Drive class hangout so I can put today's class notes in there. Every class I have, I create a class notes section. I'll set that up now. Okay, just waiting for students to arrive in the class. There's no sense getting into reading it until we have students. No sense in me reading it. So just let me get the article set up. We'll get started very shortly. Okay, we should have somebody join. Oh, hello, I didn't see you come in. Hello, Alberto.
Hello, teacher. How are you?
I'm doing okay, very tired today. How are you? I just asked that question again. So, what are you doing today?
I just had lunch. I am in a break from work.
Excellent. I just had lunch as well.
Yeah.
What did you have for lunch?
Rice, chicken, and avocado.
Very nice. I love avocado.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah. Yeah, avocados. We just went shopping and got a bunch, I think 5 avocados. I just love the taste of avocados. They're so, I don't know, something unique about them.
Yeah.
Okay, Berliz.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Where are you from, Berliz?
I'm from Ecuador.
Ecuador.
Yes.
Ah, so you don't have a winter. You just have the dry season and rainy season, I guess.
Yes.
What's the temperature today?
Now it's 30 degrees.
30.
Yeah.
Wow, it's 20 here.
Wow.
And tomorrow it's
Yeah.
going down to 14.
Well, the weather here changed. In one day we have sunny, windy, rainy, all in one day.
Wow. Yeah, I can believe it. It's pretty common to have a thunderstorm in the evening, isn't it?
Yes. Sometimes, usually in Quito, especially in the capital.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I envy you of your warm weather.
Thank you.
Well, let's say hi to Carmen. Hello, Carmen.
Hi, Simon. How are you?
I'm good. Are you ready for another academic English class?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think a lot of people aren't sure what happens in an academic English class.
Interesting things happen.
Yes. Very interesting things. How's your day going so far?
It is going fine. Just a regular Thursday. Just normal.
Looking forward to the weekend?
Yeah, looking forward to the weekend. Yes.
Excellent. Well, I don't care. I'm off for 3 weeks, and every day's the same, so I just have to remember if it's the weekend or not.
Okay. So you are working on weekends?
No, I'm not working at all. I took 4 weeks off my job because I had a baby, and the only thing I'm continuing to do is my teaching.
Okay, so you don't have control because of good things. You don't have control because you are not working, because you are having time off. Okay.
Yes. And actually, depending on how this class goes, I might take another class in about 4 hours from now. There's a spot available, so who knows? We'll see. All right, and who else just joined? I see Eduardo. Hello, Eduardo.
Hello, Simon. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. Thanks for coming back.
Oh, thank you.
How is your day going?
It's going well. I've been working all morning, and here in Spain it's 8 p.m. at the evening, so just trying to learn a little bit more of English.
I think working is a good thing. I admire people who work.
We need to do it.
We do. And speaking of work, I want everybody to go into Google Drive. I do this every class. You can see I've already gotten the article ready for today's class for academic English. This is where I will take all my class notes, where I'll write everything down. Okay, so to get in here, you click on the Google Drive icon. If you don't see it there, you'll find it here. And once you get in there, click on this blue box. It says Hangout Notes. Okay, we need that if we're going to participate in today's class. Hello, Pavel. Pavel's probably trying to find where his mute button is, because I know he has a microphone.
Hello, Simon. Glad to see you again.
Good to see you, my buddy. How is your day going?
It was nice. It was fine. It's very interesting.
Well, I hope interesting in a good way.
Yeah.
Good. We were actually just getting ready to do some reading. Do you remember how to get into Google Drive?
Yeah. I should press the button, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hi, Eduardo. I can see you're typing there. All right, let me just add my link in here. Okay, so I will start with Alberto this time. First, well, actually, before I have you read, let's go over what you guys are going to learn and practice today. Turn off screen share. So, what are we going to learn? Well, pronunciation. We'll practice your reading skills, speaking, writing as well, comprehension, and vocabulary. We do a lot of things in this class. It's not just about speaking. The main thing I want you to get out of this, I want you to understand what we're talking about. So as we go through the story, ask yourself, what is the main point of this paragraph that other students are reading and what you're reading? Alberto, could you please read the title of the story and the first short paragraph?
Okay, Canadians spend thrift ways, and now the good news. No more shrill warnings about the dangers of high household debt levels. I'm moving on.
Okay, what do we mean by debt?
Debt, the money that you have to pay.
Yeah, it's money that you owe, right?
Or that you owe, right? Yeah.
The money that you owe. What does the word shrill mean?
Like I don't know, like Uh, it's like intense.
It's like a high-pitched scream. Okay. Or yell, but it's high-pitched. It's very, very loud. Okay.
Okay.
Excellent. Okay, next paragraph, please, Carmen.
Don't freak. The personal finance law that debt is bad has not been repealed. Debt makes you vulnerable to a drop in income or job loss, and it may prevent you from saving enough for retirement. Reducing the amount you owe is a good thing to do, period.
Okay. Carmen, please say that.
That.
The. Okay, very good. When you concentrate, you nail it. But when you were reading it, I heard dat and duh. Okay, with the D sound, and it's the TH. So when you focused on it, you nailed it perfectly. So well done. Just pay attention to that when you get to read again.
True.
Vulnerable.
Vulnerable. Vulnerable.
Perfect. Excellent. Do you know what the word vulnerable means?
Yeah. Yeah, it is like fragile, or like is on danger of suffering some kind of hurt.
Yeah, it does. It's an adjective. To be more precise, it means we're more susceptible to an emotional attack or physical attack, right? Vulnerable means our strengths are down, right? We're something has happened, maybe we had some bad news, so we're vulnerable, and then if something happens, it makes it worse. Okay? Like, for example, imagine if you didn't sleep for 2 days straight. Okay? You'd be vulnerable. Okay? Eduardo, could you read the next paragraph, please?
But today's high debt loads are not as dangerous as once thought. We need a more nuanced discussion on that than just shooting at people about how bad it is.
Okay, can I hear you say the word shouting?
Shouting.
Excellent. Nuanced.
Nuanced.
Do you know what nuanced means?
Maybe it's something like heat, with you are making an argue in a high tone. I don't know.
Well, usually what nuanced means is it refers to a subtle difference in meaning. Okay. So it's a very, for example, when we speak English, the nuances of different tones. While not a tonal language, certain nuances can give away certain emotional feelings. Okay? Excellent. All right, the next paragraph. Oops, I went too far. Next paragraph, please. Have we lost somebody? Alexandra.
Yes, you lost somebody, but then
I gained you.
Yeah, you gained me.
Well, welcome to class. We're in Google Drive.
Yeah, already opened.
Okay, so I have a paragraph highlighted in blue.
I think in pink. I see it in pink.
Then it might be in pink, so if you could read that for me, please.
All right. Part of the change in thinking on debt reflects a sense that we are returning to a more normal economy after 5 years of confusion and disruption. Things that seemed almost apocalyptic a few years ago now seem livable, if not desirable.
Okay, what does the word apocalyptic mean?
It's like this, it's the end of the world?
Yeah, pretty much. End of the world, destruction of the world, a large fish swallowing the planet kind of thing. You know, like nuclear war would be apocalyptic. If you've seen the movie Armageddon, if that asteroid had hit the Earth, apocalyptic. If the moon decided it didn't want to leave the Earth and come back and hit us, that would be apocalyptic. Okay. Excellent. We've got Pavel back. Hello, Pavel.
Hello again. I had some difficulties.
I see that. Go in, take a look, and let me know if it's working. If not, I have another option for you.
It's still nothing in the Google Drive.
Yep. Are you clicking on the little blue icon that says Class Notes? Or sorry, Hangout Notes.
I've clicked in Google Drive icon in the left column at the screen.
Pasha! Pavel,
right here, you click on this little...
Google Drive слева, это получается какая четвертая? Ну,
да,
Google Drive, видите, да?
Я выбрал.
Нажали, а потом заметки со встречи нажмите один раз, и все появится.
Синенький значочек?
Да, заметки со встречи, синенький значочек.
Okay.
Okay, I take it that's Russian.
Okay, so sorry for the Russian. Yeah, now I can see the
Guys, if you don't stop it, I'm going to show off and start speaking baby.
Thank you.
All right, are you there, sir?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. If you could read the paragraph I have highlighted, it's on the second page.
The case for not worrying quite so much about debt was laid out by the chief economist and CIBC World Markets earlier this week is a note issued by the headline, "Debt is not a four-letter word. There is no reason to raise alarm bells over household debt," Avery Shenfield wrote.
All right. If you could say this.
This.
Okay, what? Thank you. What does this phrase mean? Four-letter word.
I have no idea. Four-letter word.
In English, most of our swear words are 4 letters. Okay? And some of them aren't. No, obviously I can't say them here, but 4-letter words generally refer to swear words. Okay? It's something that's usually considered disgusting or improper, something we don't talk about if we're polite people. So if you refer to something like debt and say debt is not a 4-letter word, what they're trying to say is debt isn't all that bad. Okay, there's an idiom here. What do you think this means, Alexandra? There's no reason to raise alarm bells.
There is no reason to worry.
Yeah, don't sound the alarm. Right? Don't be worried. It's not that bad. All right. Eduardo, could you read the next paragraph, please?
The most often quoted gauge of Canada's indebtedness in our average debt-to-income ratio, which hit 164% as of the end of last year, Mr. Shenfield said that's high compared with U.S. levels both now and in 2006 before the housing market crashed. Still, he thinks that levels in this country are not a big worry.
No, debt levels are not a big worry until they become a big worry, until the markets crash. They weren't a big worry in the U.S. either until the recession hit. Okay, this word, please. Gauge.
Gauge.
Indebtedness.
Indebtedness.
Indebted.
Indebted?
Yes.
Okay, without the B sound like that.
Yeah.
Indebtedness. Okay.
Very good. And ratio.
Ratio.
Okay, what does gauge mean in this context?
Gauge maybe is like a idiom or a phrase, a sentence, a noun sentence. I don't know.
Okay, well in this case, gauge means it's a measure. The most often quoted gauge of Canada's indebtedness might also read the most often quoted measure of Canada's indebtedness, right? So it's not an idiom here, because we can substitute this word for another word of similar meaning. Okay? Carmen, the next paragraph, please.
One reason is that debt in Canada is generally held by people who can afford to pay it off.
Sorry, keep going. I just thought that was funny.
Okay. The problem is the US was that too much debt was issued to people who couldn't afford it, Mr. Schenfeld said.
Thank you. Why did I laugh when Carmen read that first sentence? Why did I think that was funny?
Because it's not true, maybe?
Well, I've never really met people who have a lot of debt that say, I'm okay, I don't have to worry about this. Most people who have debt don't like it, and the reason they have it is they don't have money to pay it off. So if you lose your job, that debt becomes a very big anchor around your neck. Okay, this next paragraph is one big one. Alberto.
The affordability of debt in Canada can be seen in the fact that the delinquency rates on lines of credit, loans and credit cards have been low and falling. The number of mortgages in either default or arrears payments missed for more than 3 months has also been heading lower. We may be carrying large debts on average in Canada, but we are paying them off with ease for the most part.
Okay, thank you. Affordability. What does affordability mean?
That you can pay. I mean, do you have the money to pay?
Yeah, you have the means to pay. You have the income.
Yes.
You maybe have assets or cash, right? So, very good. What about delinquency?
I
love that noun.
Delinquency.
Yeah, it's a great sounding word. Can anybody help Alberto with delinquency?
It is like robbery and how can I say? Delinquency rates on lines of credit. Delinquency is like something illegal, that something is persecuted by law.
Kind of. In some countries it is a crime, a minor crime. Delinquency means?
When you don't pay? When you don't pay.
Failure to pay. Okay. So failure to pay any outstanding debt. In England, a couple of hundred years ago, we used to put people in jail if they failed to pay. Mortgages. Could you say that word for me, please, Alberto?
Mortgages?
Yeah, the T, you don't pronounce the T.
Mortgages.
Yeah, mortgages.
Mortgages.
Arrears.
Arrears.
Yeah, that basically means things that you haven't paid. In this case, they're referring to 3 or more months missed. Okay, Alexandra, if you could read the next paragraph, please.
That's certainly the story told by the country's debt service ratio, which measures how much of our disposable income goes toward interest on mortgages, credit lines, and other debts. Statistics Canada says the debt service ratio in the fourth quarter of last year was 7.1%, the lowest level since records started being kept in 1990.
Very good. Any questions about this paragraph?
No.
Okay. Pavel, could you read the next paragraph, please?
Yeah. That's certainly the story told by the country's debt service ratio.
I think you're the next one after that.
Sorry. Okay. Historically low interest rates are the reason why debt's so affordable. Stern warnings about debt I've written my share typically focus on what might happen when rates return to normal levels. But now it's looking like this won't happen for quite a long while.
All right, let me hear you say the word the.
The. What would you do like to...
Just repeat the sound I'm saying. The.
The.
No? Okay, Say
it's difficult to pronounce it. I've read...
Like, do that.
I can do that.
Okay. It's the type of sound I want you to try and get. So just say
Instead of right.
See, we close our lip. See, start with an and open your mouth.
Yeah, this looks like correct. Okay, I think it's okay now.
Okay,
Huh?
You're not repeating. I want you to repeat after me.
The.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. See, you can do it. It was just a minor correction. Okay?
Yeah.
And the next word, I've. Perfect. All right,
okay.
Next paragraph.
Thank you.
Eduardo.
Bank of Canada Governor Stephen Poloz has talked recently about how the country's aging population could result in slower economic growth and lower interest rates than we saw pre-crisis. Mr. Schoenfeld believes that when the central bank does raise rates, it will move cautiously. The Bank of Canada knows that households have more debt than they did in previous economic cycles, and thus it will be more careful on the upcoming pace of interest rate hikes.
Well done. Just one word. Not rise rates, raise rates.
Wow. Raise rates.
Very good. Excellent. All right, Carmen. You had a very short paragraph last time, so once again, you're going to have a short paragraph and a long one. The next two paragraphs are yours.
Okay. Don't get complacent about debt, though. For one thing, it will be a huge burden if your income falls as a result of changes in your work. Reduced income is the top reason people cite for their financial problems when they visit Toronto-based Consolidated Credit Counseling Service of Canada, according to the Executive Director Jeffrey Swartz. In many cases, it's people who were employed at one point, lost their jobs, and are now re-employed but not earning at the rates that they were before, Mr. Swartz said.
Thank you. Let me hear you say complacent.
Complacent.
Your. Reduced.
Reduced.
They.
Executive. Oh, no, repeat, please.
Executive.
Executive.
Perfect. Well done. There we go. Right. Next paragraph, Alberto.
Last week's unemployment report highlights the lack of job security in today's economy. A total of 28,900 jobs were lost in April, and longer term, there's been more growth in part-time work than full-time positions.
Well done. All right, I just deleted the last paragraph for a simple reason. We've spent the first half of the class reading, listening, doing a little pronunciation work. Now I want us to have a discussion. This is where we get to practice our speaking, comprehension, and try to learn some more vocabulary. So what I want to do first is I want to get your ideas as to what the story was about. So right under where it says discussion, I want each one of you to start writing some key points of this story. You don't have to give complete sentence structure. For example, in point form, I could just say about interest rates, right? It's not a full sentence. It doesn't have to be, okay? So at the very bottom where it says discussion, could each one of you write a short couple of points about the main thesis of the story or some key points? And there's quiet. There we go. I see Alberto getting ready. Eduardo. Pavel, great. Excellent. You guys are typing very fast. Okay, Alberto, let me start with you. A very good qualification. It sounds like you might be a lawyer, sir. Read us your point that you captured.
Yeah, well, I think it is about how debt affects or may affect the economy in Canada.
Okay. Would it only affect Canada?
Yeah, it was mainly about Canada. It could affect the old world, but as far as I understood, it was more about Canada.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay, Alberto, read us your thought.
I just did. I think it is.
Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. Sorry. Alberto. Oh no, I'm getting it mixed up. It's Eduardo. Sorry. Eduardo, read your statement, please.
Yes, my point is when I'm focusing in pronunciation, I cannot understand a thing. Yeah, I don't know why. I want to know if it happens.
Bad, Eduardo. Okay, go stand in the corner. What's really important in this class, I'm not so concerned about pronunciation. It's really important. The main focus here is to understand what we're talking about. What I will do is as we go through, after you finish reading, I'll help correct you on certain pronunciation. But the main thing is I want you to understand the message that we're trying to talk about. So don't worry about focusing solely on pronunciation. All right, Pavel,
Okay.
read us your point, please.
This is a story about the difficulties when you have a debt. It's very important to have a job when you are in debt.
What happens if you lose a job, Pavel?
It's a little bit a difficult situation because you will be out of money, and when you find a new job, it's maybe not as good as the previous one. So your earnings may be less than you had before.
Yeah, and that's maybe one thing to think about is as you go into debt, imagine what if you didn't have a job, right?
Yeah.
Financial planning. Carmen, read us your thought.
The article is focused on debt-related issues in Canada. The positions of politicians and top banking personalities is optimistic, in contrast what the rhythm of the global recession shows. I was going to go to that.
That's okay. In contrast, Carmen, are you trying to say that Canadians are completely out of touch when it comes to debt?
I'm not talking about Canadians. I'm talking about this kind of people who are on top of on charge of those bank lobbies and some politicians. Not talking about regular day-by-day people. I'm talking about people who have an interest and who want to manipulate a little bit population, maybe.
Yeah, okay, very good, fair point. All right, Alexandra, if you can read us your point, please.
This article is about a stable economic situation in Canada. Only the income lowering can affect its economy.
So you think Canada's stable based on this article, do you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It kind of looks that way. What does our debt level look like?
Maybe I missed something about the debt. Well, I don't remember. I can only guess, I think.
Okay. Well, let's now. So you've done some writing, good. You've shown, most of you, that you've been paying attention to the story. What I want to do now is I want to actually have a discussion. Okay. When did the last recession occur? We can talk worldwide. When was the last worldwide recession?
2001, maybe.
Okay, 2001. Was it?
2008. 2008.
2008.
Yeah, 2008. I remember that one. It affected the U.S., Europe, Asia, South America. The only place I don't think it affected was Antarctica. I think that was relatively free from all those problems. Who was at fault? Who caused that recession?
The banks, I think, in the United States, or the real estate industry. I don't know.
Banks in the U.S. through the real estate industry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Subprime mortgage. It's bad credits.
Subprime.
That's what you were talking about during the last lesson, about those banks selling CDOs. Remember?
Banks and
Yeah,
insurance
CDOs.
Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac.
Okay, guys, let's say you overheard something and you found out that maybe I had terminal cancer. And so you might feel sad, but then you thought, hey, let's get a life insurance policy on Simon. He's going to die soon. So what you do is you call up your bank, say, hey, I want to get a life insurance policy on Simon. Now, the bank says, no problem, here you go. How much money do you want? Great. They don't check my health. They don't care. They just sell you policies because they make money every time they sell a policy. Then Alexandra tells her other friends, Carmen and Alberto, hey, you guys, you got to buy a life insurance policy on Simon. They do it. They tell their friends, and Pavel does, and Eduardo. Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't.
To have that you can take a life insurance policy out on anybody?
No, it doesn't.
And that you can do it multiple times? Well, that's what happened in the U.S. in the financial markets.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a long story. What would happen is some guy would come to you and say, Carmen, let me give you a mortgage for this wonderful $1.2 million house. And you say, oh, there's no way, I can't afford that. I said, well, what if I can give you this house for about $1,200 a month? And you think, like, no, that can't be. Yep, $1,200 a month. Here you go. It's in paper. It's all written down. $1,200 a month for 3 years. You have to make this payment every month. So Carmen signs it. However, beginning year 4, the rates jump up to $6,000 a month. Okay? People were selling mortgages with all sorts of crazy terms to get people interested, lock them in. And these were called subprime. They were selling it to people who generally couldn't afford to carry the property. Then the people selling these mortgages would sell them to people on Wall Street. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of mortgages. They would package them up, made in USA, and say, here you go, Europe. These are very, very safe mortgages. You can put your pensions in these. They said to Asia, here you go, very, very safe mortgage debt from the US. Here you go, Russia, Canada. Until 2007, when it all started to fall apart. The US became very bankrupt, and it affected the rest of the world, to which much of the world is still suffering from it to some degree. So, my question to you is, this article talked about debt in Canada. What were they saying about the debt in Canada? Is it a bad thing? Eduardo, let's start with you.
Well, you said it's not a 4 letters word, so it's not that bad. I think in the article they say that the debt is rising, but not so much as other years. So it maintains in more or less at the same level. Maybe there is more debts, more people with debts, more mortgages, but yeah,
So
I think it's not that
question.
important.
What is the debt to income ratio?
164%.
What? How much?
164%. Yeah.
Okay. So that means for every $1 of income I bring in, I have $1.6 of debt. What? Does that sound dangerous?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Can I tell you guys a secret?
Yeah.
That doesn't include mortgage debt. Yeah. When they say debt, they're talking about credit card debt, loans. They're not talking about mortgage debt. Now, how does that look, Carmen?
I mean, when you are talking about mortgage, you are talking about properties, and when you are talking about loans, you are talking about like small credits you get from the bank. I'm a little bit confused.
Yeah, most people are for very good reason. Credit cards, loans are referred to as debt. The mortgage, when you hear articles talking about debt, never includes mortgages. Now, if I was an accountant, I would say, well, yes, mortgage is debt. There's 2 types of debt: short-term debt, and of course, long-term debt. Short-term being credit cards and loans, anything that can be paid off within a year. Long-term debt is usually mortgages or debentures, but essentially it's a long-term debt, 25 years, 5 years, 10 years.
If you buy a car, it's a loan, I suppose.
Yeah, and car loans are generally considered debt.
Okay.
I think I need a crash course on finance.
I can offer one of those. I'm actually certified CSC, which is Canadian Security Certificate, and I have a business degree, so I could actually offer a course on that if you wanted someday. I'd teach anything you need. So we're hearing that 164% debt to income, okay, is just credit card. It doesn't include mortgage. Does this sound healthy?
So that means people are living completely out of what they can afford.
Oh, that doesn't sound healthy. Alberto, this story tells you what? Debt is good or debt is bad?
Well, I don't really know much about a lot about this topic, but for the economy, that is necessary, I think.
Yes, but the question was according to this article.
According to the article, no. Well, according to there were some people talking. The writer quoted some different people, and there is a guy who says that I don't remember his name. Schenfeld is his last name. He believes that is good and it is healthy in Canada.
Okay, so Schenfeld believes it's healthy. I want to know what you guys think. Debt to equity or debt to income is 164%. Plus, then there's mortgage debt. Now, let me just build a picture here. The average price of a house in the Toronto area is at least $400,000. That includes outside of the city. Where I live, $400,000 won't even buy you a detached house. That's a townhome. Okay? If you want a home that's got 4 walls and not attached to somebody else, it's going to run you about $700,000. Okay? Closer to the city, that jumps to well over $1 million. And most people have at least $300,000 in mortgage debt. So what do you guys think of? Let's start with Pavel. What do you think of the debt situation in Canada? Do you agree with the author, or do you think that we might be headed down a bad road?
I think it's not good, but it's not so bad.
Okay.
Maybe it's the working scenario. It can be.
Could be.
Yeah, I don't think it's too much problem.
What about you, Eduardo?
Well, in my opinion, it should be a bank policy about giving you a mortgage if you can afford it and you have a good salary in a year and you can pay maybe in 20 years, because everyone deserves to have a house. But of course, you cannot give a house for $700,000 to a guy who earned maybe $20,000 a year.
No.
It's not logical. So it should be something, some kind of policy in the banks to not give this mortgage to that people, because it's a lot of risk.
Okay.
No? It's
Very
my
good.
opinion. Yeah.
And it's a good opinion, well thought out. Carmen, your turn. You're on the line.
Yeah, I would like to say that the opinion of politicians and these kind of financial experts, that they have they can raise their voice into media and all these things, is completely poisoned. So how can you, you just cannot blindly trust them. They can say, or they may say, this is very positive, this is moving our economy, this is doing something good for us as a country or whatever, but the reality is what people are facing. So if you are living in a under $20,000 annual budget, and you need to live in Toronto because your work is there, how can you have the capacity to live by your own? How can you have the capacity to face this unbalanced situation?
Very good points. Now you're starting to see the reality of the situations that people are facing here. They can't afford to live where they need to live. So in the morning they have a 2-hour drive, and in the evening they have a 2-hour drive. Okay, Alexandra, your turn. Your thoughts and opinion.
Oh, I can base my judgment only on my general knowledge of the country's economy. I don't know, I'm bad at finance.
Apparently, so are Canadians.
What I can say.
I need more.
What I can say is that I got interested very much in our last lesson when we were discussing the prices of houses. So I went deeper into details, and I watched the movie which is called Inside Job, which is exactly about the crisis. Yes. So, but that's off topic. I don't know much about Canada, so.
Okay, Alberto, your thoughts.
Well, I don't know. As far as I know, well, economy needs that people earn money and spend it really quick. So debts are a very good way for in terms of the economy to spend money. I mean, it's I don't know, but I feel it like these recessions and all those economic crises are like repetitive. So there are cycles, and the economy starts behaving well, and then something else comes up, and we have a recession, and it's like something that will be there like that, because we most of the life on Earth is based on money.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All very good thoughts. As we race to the end of another class, all I might add is you got to be careful with debt. If you owe somebody else money, they own you in some way. You don't have complete freedom. I believe that yes, debt can be a very useful instrument in building wealth. However, there's a term known as overextending. Okay, let me explain what overextending means. So let's say I make $100,000 a year. And to buy a house, I have to put 20% down. So if I make $100,000 a year, after taxes, I might bring home, let's say, $5,000 a month. To get a mortgage at 20% might cost me $1,500 a month. Life is good, I'm making good money. I decide to buy 2 houses. So I have 2 mortgages, and they cost $1,500 each. That leaves me with $2,000 at the end of the month. Not a lot of money for food and transportation and things, but hey, I'm sacrificing now because you know what? I want a better life later. So I keep paying my bills, all is going well. Then one of my tenants decides he can't afford to pay anymore. Well, I have to keep paying the mortgage. So keep in mind, this one here, the second mortgage, I have income to replace that. And so I might have $1,700 coming in a month, which covers the mortgage. My tenant stops paying for 3 months. I've got to pay that myself. So then my tenant starts paying again, or I kick him out and I have a new one, and things are good. Then in a year from now, I get fired or laid off. I don't have any income anymore. I'm looking for work. I can't find work. Now I risk the problem of what do? I have to sell both houses because I can't afford to keep even one going. So instead of building up some wealth, I've now lost everything. So you've got to be careful. If you overextend yourself, the failure of one asset can bring them all down. Have you guys ever heard of something called a house of cards?
There's a TV show called The House of Cards.
Yes, there is.
Yes.
Have you guys ever tried to build a house with cards?
No.
No.
So imagine this. You stack cards on top of each other and you build a little house out of them. How stable do you think that house is going to be?
Not very stable.
No. Same with debt. Be careful how you use it, because money doesn't have any emotion. And if you run out of it, you can lose everything. So be careful with it. That's all I'm saying. So let's go back and look at what we said we were going to do at the beginning of today's class. We're going to learn about pronunciation. We did focus on some pronunciation. As you guys read, I went over words that I felt weren't said with the best enunciation, and I helped you. I also helped you with vocabulary. Okay? So words like delinquency. You improved your reading, your speaking, and of course your writing skills as well. And of course, like I said, we were focusing on comprehension. At the top of the page, there is the link to the article where you can go and read it in its entirety. And of course, a link to my teacher page. That link will show you my next 6 classes on what time and day they start in your local time. What I want to do for the rest of the class is open it up for any questions. Do you guys have any questions at all? None? Nothing?
I was curious about the problem with the employment and unemployment in Canada. Now we were talking about it. It is a big amount of people with no jobs, or it's not like here in Spain?
It's a little high. I think the last time I checked, it was 7.1%. So I think if they can get it down to 5 or 6%, that's more healthy for our economy. It was as high as 10%, but it's been around 7% for a couple of years now.
Mm-hmm.
So I know it's a lot higher in Spain, but each country has its own kind of levels that it considers to be good or not. Canada's been used to an unemployment rate of around 5% for many years. When 2008 hit, it went up to about 10%. The US is higher than us, but not by much. But they also calculate it differently too.
Uh-huh. Interesting to know this.
Yeah. Other questions? Oh, I can't believe you guys don't have any questions. You guys have to take a class on small talk. All right. Well, by the way, Alexandra, I got your message. If you wanted to still do a private session on Saturday, I cleared up a spot for you.
Uh-huh.
If you're interested. Let's see, anything else? Well, I've got nothing else to bring. We've got 2 minutes left. Do you guys want to talk about anything? Your choice to speak about anything you want.
I mean, I'm shocked by having the information of the price of housing there. I had no idea, especially because of the weather, climatic conditions of Canada. It is, I mean, it is shocking for me to get to know that those are the prices of the houses.
Try
it's crazy.
Living. You know, I live in a probably about a 1,700 square foot townhouse, and it cost over $400,000, and it's an hour outside of the city. You know, if I wanted a standalone home, not much bigger than this, maybe 2,000 square feet, I would pay $600,000.
Wow.
If I wanted something a little more roomier for a family, it would cost $700,000.
And Simon, what about renting? Is that an option for life?
It certainly is. So you could rent a property in the city that's about, with 2 bedrooms, 2 baths for about $2,100 a month. Okay, and that includes your gas and electricity for $2,100 a month.
Teacher, do you think those prices are fair, or it's I don't know if in Spanish we say something like real estate bubble or something like that? I don't know if it makes sense.
The OECD has said Canada is one of the top 3 overrated housing markets in the world. In other words, we're one of the bubble economies they're watching. They feel that our real estate is one of the highest overvalued. So we've got a guy writing an article like this saying, you know, don't worry, it's okay, it's a different kind of debt. You got the OECD saying, wait a minute, Canada's got one of the top 3 it's in the top 3 highest in the world. So 200 odd countries on the planet, and we're in the top 3. Probably not a good thing.
Yes.
All right, guys, class is now over. Thank you so much for coming. Some good questions there throughout, and well done, guys. I think you did terrific this class. Feel free to copy the class notes. I will be back here later this evening for another class. Any questions?
Thank you, Simon, so much. It was very interesting.
You're welcome.